Well, hello, my name is Brett Hirsch, instructor for Overnight Accountant, as you probably know, because this is part 3 of our series, which I'm going to repeat in a second. But anyways, instructor for Overnight Accountant, owner of realestatetexpros.com. We are continuing with our series. This is part 3 of how Congress is killing the tax profession. I should have said earlier, but I want to thank you so much for watching this little mini-series that we did. And I hope you're learning a lot, and I hope you will subscribe to our page, and I hope you will hit that like button. There's what everybody else says. Hit that button. Wherever it's at. I'll try to say that again if I remember at the end of this lesson, or this part. Okay, so we're in part 3, and this is basically a very short video. It's basically, as you learned by now, Congress is killing the tax profession. It's become very trying times. As you've learned, your purpose of your tax return is no longer about collecting taxes. Its primary function has very little to do with collecting taxes. And this is part 3. What we want to share is how you can help. How you can help us, and honestly, how you can help yourself. And basically, our discussion points are going to be, as I said, this is a relatively short video, but understanding and empathy, that would be very nice. Understanding also that an extension is your friend. Do not fear the extension. Do not fear it. It is nothing to be afraid of. Filing an extension is good and your friend. There's certain things you got to do about paying, make sure you have paid 90% of your taxes before then tax due. But honestly, it's your friend. And be willing to pay for quality, professional service. We have a supply and demand issue here. If you're shopping for price in this profession, I probably wouldn't be doing that. You don't shop for prices for surgeons, do you? You ask your lawyer, you got a serious thing, you ask them how much they charge to get something done that's important. This is important stuff. So, what about understanding and empathy? Let's move forward. All right, tax pros are highly educated. Most of us have several, at least one college degree. Many of us have more. If you're a CPA, you passed a 4-part exam. I think it's still 4 parts. I'm not a CPA, I'm an enrolled agent. But you're highly trained. We have to get a lot of training each year. The tax code's constantly training. We are highly trained and devoted to our profession. So please keep that in mind. I'm an enrolled agent. When I took the exam, I think it was still 4 parts when I did. I think it's 3 now. But enrolled agents are a little different. We specialize and focus on taxation. CPAs do a lot of other things. Really can. Not all of them do taxes. Actually, probably a small percentage of the total amount of them in the United States prepare tax returns as a large part of their income. So I digress again. We're highly professional, highly trained, and you know what is happening now. You've watched these videos. You know what is going on in the profession, and it's once per year. So give us a break. Get it done. Get it done right. You have to file once per year. It's highly complex. Understand what we're going through. Give us some slack. Give us a break, please. All right. Understand what we're going through. Okay? File an extension. Extensions are your friend. I have some on our website, on our blog section of Overnight Accountant, also realestatetexpros.com. I think it's on there too. You're going to see we have several articles. One is about dealing with ASD, April 15th stress disorders, we call it in the profession. Another one's about this topic here, how Congress is killing the profession. And then also I have an article about the history of April 15th, as I've discussed in this video series. Okay, as I said in the last section, April 15th is just, well, stupid. April 15th is no longer realistic given the complexity and the time when everybody receives the forms for the return. So overcome April 15th stress disorder, ASD, as I said a moment ago, and make sure you pay 90% of what you owe or think you're going to owe by April 15th. Then you avoid all penalties, and if you do have penalties and you don't owe that much on your tax return, you might have 0 penalties. But it's very small penalty compared to like the late filing penalty. You file an extension, you might get a late payment penalty plus a little interest, but it's generally very doable. And oftentimes, you see discounts on our returns often applied to those. Not all the time, but sometimes. Plan to file if you want to be helpful. Plan on filing between, get your stuff to us early, but plan on May to July to have your return done. Sometime between there. That's why you're not too late. You're not getting real late in the year. If you're going to wait, if you're a procrastinator like many people are once they file a tax return, get your information to us by September 1st. The extended due date is October 15th. Oftentimes, you're going to find if you get your materials to a tax professional after September 1st and October 15th is coming, you're probably likely to get a surcharge on top of your return on top of everything else, because we are trying to spread these out through the summer. That's the whole point. So don't procrastinate. File an extension, but don't procrastinate further. Just be understanding with what's going on. As I said a minute ago, surcharges may apply for many firms after September 1st. October 15th is the extended due date of the return, so tax season really lasts almost the whole year for us. Also, finally, be willing to pay for quality. Anyone can prepare taxes. That's one of the downsides of this profession. You don't know what you're getting until something goes wrong. It's a service. It's invisible. Pay for quality. Get your taxes done right. Only tax professionals are really enrolled agents, which I am one, certified public accountants, and remember, oftentimes they don't specialize in tax, but they are tax professionals if they choose to be, and also your tax attorneys. They are trained to prepare tax returns correctly. So get a professional. Pros are experiencing higher inflation than most. Our costs have gone up maybe 50% over the past few years because we have all this due diligence we have to do. We have all this identity theft stuff we have to deal with. Software is going through the roof. I think part of that might be because less people are preparing returns, so we have a supply and demand issue in the software itself. Plus, software is getting complex. Tax code gets complex. Our software gets complex. It gets more expensive. So be willing to pay. All right. If you're price shopping and you're calling up different firms to say how much you charge for this or that, that's a warning to us that you may not be a good client. So I just want to let you know, because those are usually people that are oftentimes, not always, but if you're price shopping, oftentimes those individuals are also the most demanding and don't want to pay for quality service. So just keep that in mind as you're going around finding a professional for you. Tax prep is once a year, as I said earlier. Planning is very important. You got to plan by the end of the year. It's hard to do now because they're constantly changing the tax laws before even the regs are written on them. But planning is important prior to the end of the year. So find a tax pro that provides quality service, so the experience is worth the price you paid, and they provide an experience that you get along really well, and it's a win-win situation that you enjoy and expect to pay for that service. Be willing to pay for quality. So that is the end of part 3. And I thank you for tagging along on this little journey with us. We greatly appreciate it. And if you would, like the page, subscribe to the page, and check out realestatetaxpros.com, and make sure, the biggest thing, make sure you check out overnightaccountant.com, because we have a lot of trainings that are both for regular folks and professionals that can help you with minimize your taxes, grow your business, and also, if you're a professional, help you become more efficient and effective at your profession. So thank you so much. Again, I'm Brett Hirsch, signing off.